What's happening, people? I know that wasn't the result we wanted. Round one, Warriors going down 16-12. It's yeah, a little bit sad, and but a lot to break down. So, off the top of the dome, I just think we just kind of weren't clinical enough. We were a little bit disjointed, and we just panicked a little bit. I feel as though from the start of the game, let's go back and look at it. I think we had a great first 20. It looked like everything was going to plan. I mean, that try to AFB, it felt as though we had kind of really clicked into gear, and we're just really gonna, continue on from what we did last year. And then you saw Metcalf with that try. Structurally, we looked really good. We were taking the parts of the field that we wanted to attack. And then I think kind of when Barnett and AFB went off, and then Egan went off, we just lost a bit of momentum, especially with Lussick. Um, Felt at times that our sets were just had no structure to them. We weren't really coming out of our own end and not really having a plan on how and what part of the field we wanted to attack. But I don't wholly blame that on Lussick. I feel that the team, as a team, kind of dropped off in intensity. I credit to the Sharks. I thought they had a great game plan. I thought they panicked at the start a little bit, and you felt as though we were going to overwhelm them. And then their energy completely changed when I thought Hazelton came on, and the rest of their guys. I thought they did a really good job of kind of settling back into the game and then sticking to a game plan defensively. I thought they kind of nailed what we were trying to do in attack. You could see on a lot of our set plays what we were trying to do. They were willing to jam in early from the edges, and they caught a lot of our guys, especially Tuopiki and Berry, with the ball and jam those link plays. So I've got to give credit to the Sharks. I think we overpowered them in the start, and I was thinking, man, that they're in for a long night. But they settled in. I thought that we kind of just lost a little bit of momentum in the middle of the game, and then we kind of panicked towards the end a bit, and we just couldn't get into our flow. Just for whatever reason, our lead runners weren't in the right spots. Our link play wasn't right, and in a lot of senses, we just sort of made a lot of errors. We gave away a lot of penalties. There was just those sets where we were just pinning them down, but then we just kind of released the valve with a penalty, especially in the back end of the first half. And then just I felt for me that especially the Jacko Ford errors were just really poor. I thought it was probably one of his worst games, and then even leaking in the Ramian try, I thought was completely soft and not up to his standards. I know Jacko is actually a lot better than that. Um, but ultimately, their left edge didn't get firing. I don't think Roger had his best game. I thought Raymond kind of contained him probably as good as he could, but I don't think he got great ball either. I don't think Metcalf, apart from his solo try, he didn't deliver for me. He kind of disappeared a bit. And that's when I felt Sean, especially when Egan went off with his injury in the second half, Sean felt as though he had to do everything. And for me, in that situation, I want Metcalf to step up a bit and help out. The whole point of for me for him is that and I know he's going to grow into it, but there were just some periods where I would have loved to have seen him call a short side or call something and get something going on that edge a bit more. I thought Sean had a really good game in terms of his kicking game was really on point. I think there's a try that Capewell could have scored. That grubber was well weighted, just sort of bounced away from him. And Dallin could have potentially scored. I thought he got a couple of repeat sets off of nothing when nothing was working. So it felt as though I thought Sean was trying his hardest to get a win. And it's those times when I felt as though when it's expected of Sean to do everything. Those are some of the times when he's making too many decisions almost, and sometimes it's not coming off. You know what I mean? And that's the situation that we don't want him to be in. We want him to be able to, be in a situation where he can literally just make a few decisions or stay in his role and everyone else do their job. And I felt that everyone kind of didn't do their job. I thought even Tohu at times wasn't, doing his job effectively in terms of distributing the ball. I think a lot of last year was working really well was you'd have Walker and Tohu kind of that first receiver and then setting up shape. It was just interesting that how he did that last year wasn't working as effectively, and I think everyone's just timing was a little bit off. But ultimately, for me, I think the bench was a little bit wrong, and I feel Webby has made a decision, and it looks like it's going to be the decision that if Egan is playing, they are going to hold Lussick, and they're going to do that kind of 30 minutes and then change over for 30 or whatever it may be, and then play the last 20. I personally don't like that. I don't think Lussick does enough momentum wise to support us to keep the team rolling. And in the same sense, when he brought on Bunty, it wasn't effective. It wasn't producing anything to help us keep momentum up. And in that situation, I would have preferred Ali, and I always felt that Ali was going to be kind of in that Marata role. But also, I would have preferred even a Jazz to speed up the ruck a bit more, a little bit more effective, I feel, around the ruck than Bunty. So I feel just poor mismanagement of the interchange was a big part of it. Um, for me personally, Egan has to play 60 minutes minimum. I would prefer him to play a big stint, then finish with Lussick. Um, but yeah, it just felt as though we just lost our way. We lost our way a lot, and I got to give credit to the Sharks, absolutely. But at the same time, I feel we had everything. We had the dominant period. You could even the time when Egan hurt his elbow, it was like we were on the ascending. We were going to really grind him down. We started to get control a little bit more, and then Egan went off, and it just fell apart after that. And I think the Sharks had a good read on a lot of our plays. I think there wasn't much disguise. There wasn't much work at the line to kind of engage tacklers. That type of thing. And that's what I'm talking about. The first receivers weren't really getting with their lead runners in the right spots. But yeah, it's not the end of the world, obviously. But there's some improvements to be made. I think if Egan is going to be in, and I imagine he will be, I mean, Lussick will start. For me, I would like to bring Jazz in. Walker will, I think, move to a more traditional 14 role. Felt as though at times he did move to the edge. I know he had to play centre for a little bit there, to cover for Teo Piki that went off. So, yeah, just a disjointed, game for him, I suppose, being moved around. Would like to see him more around the ruck, a bit more continuously. And then, definitely for me, it's keeping Ali. And the other bench spot, I'm not too sure right now. But yeah, I just think a few tweaks. I think getting the guys back into training, looking at the tape, obviously, and just correcting a few areas. And I think we're okay for the Storm. I think it's just, I don't think it's panic stations. I think it comes with the first game of the season. You're just expecting this swell of emotion, a massive crowd. You expect our boys to come out, and especially after the first 20 minutes, it felt like, okay, this is continuation from last year. And it just sort of fell out of the air. And now we're feeling like, okay, it's a long season. And it is a long season, and it's only the first game, but I think it's just we need to take it like that for what it is. It's the first game. Guys are maybe still a little bit rusty, um, still finding their way. No doubt Webby will have them correcting those errors and fixing those mistakes. But overall, I think, yeah, we just kind of let that one go. We had all the time in position, we had all the ball. We just kind of, yeah, we didn't deliver, and that's all I can say. But thank you guys. If you guys enjoyed that, please give us a like and subscribe. Just going off the top, that's my review so far. We'll break down the tape for the wahnanga coming up. We'll be doing my shows with Ash. We'll do the All You Can Eat Warriors. We'll do a show with Josh, and we can even dissect it even more. But off the top of the head, yeah, just felt a bit rough, especially after a long off season. You really want to have a nice win, but that's all good. We've got to reset, prepare for Melbourne coming up, big game away, one that I would like to really win. And I mean, I want to win every game, but I really want to emphasize that this team try and beat top four teams, not top, the top teams that we didn't beat last year. So for me, I expect a big game coming up. But that wraps it up. Have enjoyed the rest of your weekend up the last stool, and we'll catch you later.